Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fourth coffee break conversation. We hope you've got your cup of coffee and your biscuit and you're ready to do a bit of listening. We're really grateful to the guys who've joined us today. Our focus today is on young adults and some of the experience that's going on for those who are finishing uni, at uni, finished uni looking for jobs, and the impact that this whole season of our lives is having on that. And I suppose how church is responding and how we can be praying for these young adults too in the midst of it, and what God is up to. The whole purpose of these conversations is for us to be aware of what God's up to in this time. God hasn't stopped working because we are doing things differently. He is the God who is at work in and through us in our lives, in every season of our lives. So we wanted to celebrate a little bit of what God was up to in this time, as well as acknowledge some of the hard stuff as we go through. So I'm going to do some introductions as we start. And first of all, let me introduce Kirsty. Do you want to give a wee wave, Kirsty? Kirsty is from Dublin and belongs to Dundrum Methodist and has just finished her primary school teacher training. So that's our Kirsty. Thank you, Kirsty, for being here. And then Robert, if you give a wave as well, Robert. Thank you. Robert, you're originally Newton Ards, Robert, aren't you? And
yeah, Regent Street originally.
Yeah, and you belong in terms of worship now to Church of the Resurrection at Queen's.
Yep.
And Robert is studying finance at Queen's, and you've just finished second year, and you're about to go into placement.
Yep.
This year. So they'll tell us a little bit more about this stuff as they go along. That's why I sound so unsure, because they are going to tell the story as they go. And then we have Claire, and Claire is also from you're Dundonald, Claire, aren't you?
Yeah, we kind of float.
You go to church and Rosella.
Yeah.
And Claire has just finished children's nursing, and that has obviously had an impact on these last number of months of her lives. So we'll hear a little bit about that as well. And we're grateful to have you with us. And Deepak, if you give the last wave, we're grateful to have you with us. He's also from Dublin and worships at DCM and is in the midst of looking for a job in the middle of the season, which I'm sure has challenges in itself too. So guys, we're so glad you're here with us, and we've got some prepared questions that we'll fire through, and I'll try not to throw in any too left field ones in the middle of it all. Let's chat together. Kirsty, I think you're going to kick us off, and our first question is, how are you finding this? How is this whole season impacting your life at the minute?
Good question. Yeah, like it's been crazy. So I just finished up college, fourth year college, doing primary school teaching. So I was actually on final placement when the whole COVID-19 situation kicked off. And I remember I was actually sitting I was observing for my next class actually that I was going in to teach, and that day we were told schools were shutting down. So there was absolute mayhem trying to get everything sorted, everything ready. But then also for us, it was really chaotic because we didn't know, we still had another placement to go to. So we were all trying to figure out, would we be graduating? Would they not let us graduate because we haven't finished final placement? It was a lot of chaos, a lot of concern, a lot of worry as well. But God was good through it all. And for a period of time, there's a lot of uncertainty. But we got through it and found out that we didn't need to go through our final placement, and it's now just summer. So currently now in the middle of job hunting. But that's all being delayed now as well because of everything that's going on. So, we just pray and hope and trust in God, and we wait and see what happens.
And are they advertising for jobs and interviewing for jobs at the minute or not? Is that all kind of stopped?
No, so they are, but there's a thing down here called the panel, so we have to wait until there's kind of a few people who have priority in terms of jobs, so we have to wait until they all get jobs before it kind of opens up to more people. So I'm currently waiting for it all to open up, but it will be soon, hopefully.
Wow, that's mad, because that's so not how you expected your year to end. Sure, it's not.
Not at all.
Oh.
Quite disappointing as well with graduation and stuff, and seeing all your friends and handing in your thesis, because that just kind of all very anticlimactic. But
yeah, absolutely. Claire, yours has been an end that you weren't expecting either.
Yeah, I was planning. Well, I was meant to be going to Enniskillen on my placement, for 14 weeks management, which is like our final nursing placement ever, and then we had assignments and stuff to do as well in that time. But instead, they just kind of stopped it and just sent us to our closest hospitals to work and to help kind of in whatever way we can. So I'm currently in the Royal Children's Hospital, and have been for the last 8 weeks or so. And then just up until we would meant to be finishing our degree. So yeah, it's been weird, but also not all that different, because I would have been on placement anyway. And however, we're now kind of in a transition period. Like, we're not really students, but we're not really nurses either. So nobody really knows what we are. And so that's been hard, trying to find our place and trying to find our role. But no, it's been good. So.
And how is it being in the children's hospital? How are you finding it?
Oh, it's good. Yeah, I really like. It's nice being in the children's hospital rather than being on a children's ward in a normal hospital. It sounds really silly, but there's a big difference. But I'm on a ward that is really busy. A lot of the other wards have actually gotten a lot quieter during the whole lockdown and pandemic and everything. But my ward's been pretty steady and pretty busy. So there's been a lot to do. It's been a bit overwhelming at times.
Yeah.
But getting through. So.
Yeah, mad being thrown in. I mean, I know you're saying you would have been in placement anyway, but you're essentially being thrown in at the deep end, aren't you?
Yeah.
In the midst of a.
Yeah, and on placement we still would have had our mentor and stuff, whereas now we are kind of flying solo, so it is a bit, yeah. So.
Interesting. Interesting. Robert, you're studying. Did you get to finish your second year, or how did it impact that for you?
So sort of, yeah, as you said, I'm in second year, just finished it doing finance. And for us, so we were, actually don't know, I can't remember what week we were in. All the uni weeks just blend into one, they're all the same. But so we obviously lost the last couple of weeks of teaching, but thankfully for us, they were able to just kind of take the material that would have been used for exams and put it online and just sort of change the format to work better for online assessment. So I think with our course, it was a bit less disruptive than with others. And yeah, definitely thinking about GCSE and A-level students at such a crucial time for them. It's really difficult for people at that sort of age, and especially when they're talking about people getting predicted grades. And I think that's probably even more disruptive in school. And then for final year students at uni as well, obviously that's not the way anyone wants to end their time at uni. So yeah, I sort of feel quite thankful in terms of that, in terms of what stage I was at. But really the main concern for me was with placement, because I was meant to be going on placement from mid-July, and obviously a lot of that has sort of been up in the air. But I got a call a couple of weeks ago to say that my placement's still going ahead on the original date. And if needs be, they can just onboard me from home, so I can do everything remotely. Yeah, so really fortunate in terms of that, just with, it's the nature of the industry as well. Like in finance, a lot of the stuff can be done remotely. But yeah, I'm just really thankful to actually have a job tied down for next year, obviously in the current climate. Very thankful for that. So yeah, things have been different, but feeling very thankful.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Slightly different story for you, Deepak. You're job hunting in the middle of this. How is it impacting life for you?
I don't know, I'm doing good. I'm having a good time. I like knowing everyone else is suffering as much as I am, you know? So
everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're all sinking. But no, that it makes me feel less worried about the future, I guess. But yeah, I'm a little worried, but I feel like everyone should be. But I'm feeling good.
Good. I suppose we talked about how it's impacting work and uni, but what about you personally? How have you found being locked down as such? How's that been for you? Sorry, that's a little question I've just thrown in from the left field, just for those listening.
I liked it a lot.
You like
personally? It? Yeah.
Actually? Oh wow.
Yeah, I feel like I can do so much and not feel like I'm being unproductive. Do you know what I mean? Like I can delve into personal endeavors that I've been meaning to do for a while, and then not feel like I'm wasting my days. So.
Fair enough. Could you give us an example that's appropriate, Deepak, of a personal endeavor that you've
I just like creative things. Like I've been making a lot of music, and usually I'd feel like okay, I should stop and do something productive.
Yeah.
But I feel good about it, you know?
I suppose that is productive in this time, isn't it? To do something that
Yeah.
actually feeds us and gives us life is actually really important.
Yeah.
What about anybody else? How have they been finding the actual lockdown bit?
Anyone making bread?
Ah, good on you.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, there's like good days and bad days. Some days I'm like, oh my goodness, this is great. I love just being in the house watching TV. And then other days you really miss your friends. And I think for me, I just really miss normality, just being able to go out and go to shops and not have to queue and stuff like that. So the good weather really helps because you can sit outside, and now that you're allowed to meet people outside socially distanced, and it definitely helps with that. But yeah, I've been having a lot of like weeks where I've been like up and down. So yeah, it just kind of depends.
Yeah, fair enough. Either of the other, do you want to chip in before we move on to the next question?
Yeah, it's kind of just ups and downs. There's kind of, I found, like, thinking ahead to it all being locked down, it was all sort of very, oh, this is going to be awful. But then when you actually get into it, yeah, you miss your friends, yeah, you miss normality, and you miss being able to meet up with your church and everything. But there's also benefits to it as well, and especially for us as Christians, it's opened up a lot of time to delve more into the Word and to delve more sort of into our personal relationships with God. So that's something that I guess at the minute, this is a time where I've sort of noticed how important my faith is to me, which you kind of take for granted a lot of the other time.
Yeah.
So
The benefits
that's
of having to depend on God, Robert, isn't there? In this,
Yeah.
I've been noticing that through the Take Heart stuff, just people's real dependency and trust in God on it all. What about you, Kirsty? How is it impacting you? Do you think at the minute? How you find it?
Like, I mean, in ways I like it as well. Kind of my DPAC. I'm a real home bird. I love spending time with my family. I'm an only child, so we're all really close. I also get to nap more. That makes me quite happy. I love like a midday nap.
Very good.
But like in the same sense, yeah, like I find it really hard knowing like those friends I have in down south currently. DPAC, correctly if I'm wrong, we're only allowed a 10k radius, is it? Or is it 5? I can never remember.
Pretty sure it's 10 since the last
Right.
lift.
Okay. Well, a lot of my friends anyway are outside of my radius, so it's somewhere inside, which is great, and then somewhere outside, so that's kind of where it's hard. But ups and downs.
Downs, absolutely. It sounds like a lot of people's journeys. And Claire, we were going to have a little just chat around church. So how have you found engaging with church and God in this time? How's it been for you?
I actually really love church being online. I think because I've missed a lot of stuff from shift work in the hospitals. And especially since starting like my course over the past 3 years, like there's been stuff I haven't been able to go to. So it's really nice because you can anytime. So even if I'm on shift when I come home, I can watch church. So like I haven't missed it. And I honestly I love it. I think it's great. And it's really nice because I would sometimes go to Church of the Red as well, where Robert goes, so I can tune into that one as well, and it's just lovely. And I think all these videos are being posted, you know, like the blessing and Irish blessing. Like I just think like there's still such a sense of community, even though we're all so isolated and like separate in our houses. I think seeing the church pull together from across like the UK and world, I think it's amazing. And I personally have been really enjoying everything, and like all the quizzes that are going on, I feel like really involved, even though so yeah, I enjoy it.
Good. What about the rest of you? How have you been finding that part of it, like church, faith, God?
Yeah, I think it's been really refreshing to see the passion that's in the church. I think looking around as so many things have kind of been stopped in their tracks, like different plans and organizations, seeing the church just continuing to grow and flourish has been amazing. And even things like seeing some of the bigger churches which have more maybe techie people involved, the smaller churches then learning from them, and you see churches implementing different things in their services each week, and it's just amazing to see that passion and that fire that's sort of under the church during this time, and just really how God is moving through that, what seems like a bit of a dire situation at times, God can still use for his glory. So I think that has been amazing to see just how the church has grown during this time.
And the statistics are that your generation are connecting more to church than ever. and
Yeah.
which is really interesting, particularly your age group. It's really connecting back in to online stuff. It's interesting. What about Kirsty, Deepak? How have you been finding church and faith stuff in this time?
I mean, for me, like church, I'm finding it hard. I'm missing that face-to-face contact.
Yeah.
I'm missing like the older people within my church. I'm missing the younger people in my church. Seeing our youth every Saturday night, playing with the worship band. Like, I'm really struggling with those elements. But like on a Sunday, whenever I get up and me and my family sit down and watch the church service, I love it because the way Dundrum have done it, we've invited as many people as we can to partake in the church service each week. So it means you're still getting to see that, and I'm loving that. Faith's been an interesting one, because I feel like it's hot. Like, I've missed that kind of face-to-face. Like, I'm not going physically to church. I'm not going to my Bible study. And that kind of, I've struggled with that. But I've known that God's good, and it's also just made me think as well. Like, I feel like now is the time, kind of as Robert was saying, like we don't have anything in a sense. So really now is the time just to be plugging in to God, because when you're in college, there's always an excuse you can find. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I feel as if we all do it. Whereas now really is the time just to go spend as much time with God as we can, which is what we want to be doing on an everyday. But now it's like, we have no excuse not to be, which is, there's that as well. So
I think that's interesting, because I think, like, what I'm hearing there from you, Kirsty, is you're missing some of the discipleship stuff, some of the stuff that would have kept you going in your faith. Yeah. And we're having to do a bit more on our own with God, aren't we? And so actually, but what the lovely side of that is that discipleship, like those Bible studies, those small group things that you've been part of, have been good and have been important. So it's good that we're missing them. It's good that we realise that those are things that are important in our faith journey, isn't it? Even though it might be a struggle in this time. But yeah, we're definitely being forced to be a wee bit more personal in our endeavours with God, aren't we? Deepak, what about you? How have you found church and faith in this season?
I feel I'm with Kirsty. I miss the people. I miss the people a lot, but I'm really enjoying YouTube videos, just being able to do it at my own time. Do you know what I mean? And then I can also take my time to process the information. Yeah. I'm a little ADD, so I struggle to, fully listen when things are happening in church. So it's nice to be able to, take it slow.
Yeah.
I like that.
Good. I think you're also good at being positive in the midst of the hard stuff, and I think, but yeah, we have to acknowledge it. There's hard things going on, and we know this is not normal, and this is not normal life at all. And what do you think? What do you think God's up to? It might be in you personally, but it might be what you're seeing in the world around you. Deepak, what do you think God's up to?
I think it's what we're being given is the time to do everything we've ever wanted and not been able to, because we're always busy with work and college and stuff. So I like having the time, and I think us knowing that everyone has the time is helping everyone take it slow and just be in the now with God, And I think that's what He wants for us.
It's such a challenge, isn't it, to our busy lifestyles? This to really kind of understand that busyness is not necessary, isn't it? It's really interesting. Yeah. What about the rest of you? What do you think God's up to in this season?
Yeah, I think just sort of, I guess we've already touched on it, but how God's been working through the church has been so clear that we're seeing more people, particularly in our age group, engaging in church. And it's so clear God's working in that. But I think as Christians as well, we need to take encouragement in the fact that, like, God of lockdown is the same God as God before lockdown, and is the same God from the beginning of time. So sort of, I guess, as everything else around us is so uncertain and so changing, God's the one thing that for us remains unchanged. So I think that's something that's really a comfort to me at the minute, that sort of, no matter what's going on, no matter how much uncertainty there is, that God's got this, and that He still has a plan. So I think we can really take comfort in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the truth is still the truth. God's still God. The church is still the church. Yeah, even though it might look a little bit different. Yeah, what about you, girls? Who's first? Who's first?
I think I don't know. I just keep remembering the whole like God uses times of hardship for good. And I've been really challenged to try and look for the good in these times. And there's so much, like there is so much to be seen. But I think as well, like he refines character and he reveals stuff about himself and about yourself to you. And so I've been learning a lot about myself and my character and little things. But like also like what you guys were saying about what you miss about church. Like so I think it will be a time of great significance for a lot of people. And also for people that don't know God, having the opportunity on Sundays whenever their Facebooks are covered with services, like someone might tune in and yeah, I think it's exciting, and I think we should be expectant because we know that God's gonna use it, because He always does, and it's about having the right intention there. So.
Yeah. No, absolutely, Kirsty.
To be honest, Claire kind of stole what I was going to say.
I'm glad I got in first.
Yeah, no, I'm again just with the whole expectancy thing. I think it's always important to come expectant that God is moving and will move. And what I also like about it is He'll always move more than we can think of and more than we can imagine. And yeah, whether that might be in, as Claire said, someone just tuning in and listening to a church service. But I do really pray for, in a sense, a revival. And that more people will come to actually know who God is, or maybe people who've never walked into a church. This might be the way that they come and actually see the church alive, or maybe it's people that have walked away from their faith and suddenly start learning and thinking back on God. But no, I'm very expectant, especially this time. I think God's gonna use it for something.
Yeah, He's always up to something. Definitely, yeah. It's really challenging and encouraging. As we finish, I wonder if you got any kind of top tips for other young adults out there who are wondering how they might engage with God in church at this time. Robert, have you got anything you'd say to other young adults listening?
Yeah, I guess sort of practically for church at the minute, there's a temptation because it's all just online to kind of stick it on in the background while you do something else. And I know I've done that once or twice myself, but I found that when I actually sit down and I engage in the worship, and I sit and I listen and I focus on it and nothing else, and engage in the prayers, engage in the worship, whatever it is, that you get so much more out of it when you really sit and you focus on it. So I guess it's that, not just having it as something on in the background, but actually engaging in it as you would if you actually were at church. So I guess there's that in terms of practically, but just in terms of like for these times in general, I think our kind of natural thing to do is to look ahead to when this is all going to be over, or to just be constantly thinking ahead to the next announcement, or when's this restriction going to be lifted, or when can I do this. But I guess I've been challenged during this time to think, how can I be still in this moment, and how can I use this time that I have now wisely. And I guess it's, for me, it's been being thankful for having time to spend with family, more time than I would usually have, and sometimes more time than I would want. But yeah, it's how can we use this time wisely to develop our relationships at home, to develop our relationship with God, most importantly, and to just not sort of be constantly looking ahead for when's this going to be over. So I guess that is a challenge more than a tip.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a hard one, but it's a really good to actually focus on the today. Like I know I'm a planner, so I have to bring myself back to now all the time. That's part of my personality, is to look ahead. Absolutely. It's really challenging. Yeah. Any other tips or challenges? We'll throw that in there too if you've got a challenge to other young adults listening.
I think for me, what I've loved about this time is, well, it's a love-hate relationship with Zoom, I have to be honest. Zoom is great, you get to see people. Too much Zoom, you don't hate the people, you just hate Zoom. But for me, I've been really blessed. I have a couple of friends, Amy McSharry and Gavin Taylor, who are on Autumn Soul Band, both been on Tom team, and Lauren Taylor. We've had Zooms calls, and what I love about calling them and meeting up, we always go for pizza together, is actually that just naturally God comes into the conversation. And I think it's really important at this time to fill yourself with those type of people, with those people that you can sit down, can be honest with, you can have fun, you can have a rant with, but also that it just always comes back to God. And it's not even something forced, it's just something natural. And I've really been blessed and thankful for them just throughout this time, just being able just to openly just sit and chat about God has been amazing. So I think, yeah, just plugging yourself into people who are like-minded during this time is really, really important. And just encouraging and blessing each other is such an incredible thing to be able to do.
That's brilliant. Encouraging each other. That's the one another's of the Bible in action there, isn't it? It's brilliant. Absolutely. What about you, Claire or Deepak? Anything you'd say to others?
I think, oh, sorry.
Don't worry, go for it. I got there first, just.
I think mine's kind of similar to Robert's, but it's I find it a lot harder to stay fully engaged on social media. Your phone is sitting right there and you could so easily pick it up and you don't have the whole thought of like, oh, if someone sees me on my phone during church. So yeah, and you can like skip the sermon, you can, do you know what I mean, so easily. So I think I would just really challenge people to put your phone away during it, or to really be intentional to sit and listen. And even if it's a nice day, like take outside, put your headphones in. Like I just think you could get in the way of yourself from growing stronger in your faith. So just really make the conscious decision, a conscious effort, and I'm speaking to myself here, to really try be intentional, because it'll be so good. And we really need it as well. Like we need to know that we're still part of the church, and we need to know that we are still a community, and you really get that through those services too. So yeah, I don't know, that.
Yeah. Deepak, I thought we'd lost you there for a minute, but you're back.
Yes, sorry, internet being weird.
No worries. Have you got any tips or anything you say to others listening?
Tips. I want to say to keep trying. I feel like I've been getting lazy at trying to, like, even trying to keep in touch with people. And you know, when you're doing Bible things or church things and you don't try very hard because you're like, I'll just do it tomorrow just because we can now. But yeah, to continue trying, because it can be hard. Is this too quiet? Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. That's brilliant. Yeah, like I love what you guys are all saying, because it's about people. It's not just about like watching a service. In all of you, what I'm hearing is that church is more than a service. It's about community and it's about people. And I think that's that the amazing thing about technology, no matter what we feel about Zoom. And I have to admit, like my week last week was death by Zoom. It was way too much. But actually it's given us a chance to connect, hasn't it? At a time when we might not have connected before. And I've loved seeing what people have done and the creative ways they've done it. And it's been really encouraging. Guys, thank you so much for chatting with us today. Know that we'll be praying for you and all your challenges going ahead, whether that's jobs and placements and all the rest of it. And your story will impact others, and I'm sure there are many others out there who can relate to what you've been walking these last few months. So thank you so much for being with us, and we hope you all stay well and stay safe in these times. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.